Hello, it is me. Do you recognize me? Probably not. Sitting here with no makeup on. So I'm doing a review today on the new Revlon Candid line. Photoready Candid line. And I have foundation and concealer. So we're going to test those out. And then I'm going to probably do another video after this on the new eyeshadows, I think. So first we're just testing out this foundation and concealer. I have 3 of the Revlon Photo Candid foundation. This is the Natural Finish Anti-Pollution Foundation. I have shades 220, 240, and 250. And then we have the Revlon Photoready Candid Concealer, Antioxidant Concealer in 005. So let me just first, before we start putting anything on my face, let's show you the colors. So we have 220, 240 in the middle, 250 on the outside. 250 is definitely more of a yellow undertone. This one here, 240, has more pink in it. And then the one on the outside, which is 220, is more of a yellow undertone. It's kind of like, this one's super, super golden, and then this one's kind of in between the two. Now, this foundation, from what I understand, is supposed to be good for your skin. Let me just flip it over. I was reading it the other day in store. It just came out. I saw it in the drugstore. It just came out basically on Friday. It is brand new. So basically, it just says it's a medium buildable coverage, no harsh ingredient foundation. It's anti-pollution, antioxidant, anti-blue light, oil-free. What is anti-blue light? I'm looking that up. Basically, it's supposed to protect you from your cell phone rays. I don't know. Whatever. Thank you. Thank you for adding protection to my face. Okay, so because this is a Revlon video, I'm going to use the Revlon Youth Effects Fill and Blur Face Primer. I've used this before. I do like it. This is kind of a little bit thick. It's a thicker of a primer, this guy. And I'm just going to press it into my skin. I like pressing this one just because it's kind of like that. It's a thicker texture, and I really just like to work it into the lines. Has a tacky feeling, that primer. Now, the only thing I'm noticing about this, so this retails, I know in Canada it retails for $18.99 at the drugstore, which is obviously a little bit steep, but I feel like most foundations at the drugstore are that price now. But the only thing that I noticed, it's 22 mil. Most foundations are at least a 30 mil. This is 22. I find Revlon does that a lot with their products. You get less in them. For instance, this little primer is only a 10 mil. That's expensive, and I know this is expensive in store. So this is only 22 mil, $18.99, a little bit more on the pricey side. Okay, I'm going to go in with number 220, which was yellow undertone, but not as dark as the other one. I'm finding that the 250 is pulling a little bit orange on me. So I have this little sponge here from Real Techniques. It's their new Space Ball sponge, which I've wet already underneath the sink. So I'm doing 1 pump of the foundation and working that into the skin, and let's see what happens. Don't forget to get your ear, because, you know, if you got a little bit of a pink ear, it looks weird when you have a flawless face and a pink ear. So definitely, as you can see, it looks natural. It covered amazingly. Obviously, I would say it's right. It's a medium coverage, which can be buildable to a full coverage. That I totally agree with. But my skin, it shows texture on your skin. So it's not one of those foundations that's like a blurring kind of foundation. So if you do have texture on your skin, it's gonna show, that's for sure. Let me zoom it in, because sometimes people say I use a filter in my videos, which I do not. I don't know if it's my lighting. I have 2 soft boxes, and then I have like a lighting thing underneath me, which probably makes me look super lit. So I'm gonna zoom it in so you guys can like see my real face. Is that's what people want to hear? My real face? Here it is. I'm zooming in. So here you can see it looks really nice. It gives me a medium coverage. You can still see my skin coming through. You can still see dark circles, veins. You can see it all. So if you do have any little texture issues, it kind of shows it. I have a combination skin type, so I'm not super dry. So I think if you were a little bit dry and had dry patches, it kind of would cling to your dry patch. But like, there's that's one side with the foundation and then one side without, so you can see it does even out the skin tone. Okay, so if anybody really likes to use a foundation brush, let's try it with a foundation brush. I'm gonna do a pump. This is the Smashbox powder foundation brush, but I'm using it as a liquid one, whatever. Let's see how it goes. actually like the look of the foundation with the brush better. It gives it a little bit more coverage. This looks a little bit more natural, I think, because it's damp, that it kind of thins out the foundation. If you want a better coverage with the foundation, try using a brush, because I actually really do like the way that this brush pushed the product into my skin. But it looks the same on the skin. You still see a little bit of my texture, but it doesn't look phony. It's definitely a flat foundation. It is matte. I'm not getting any glow. I'm not getting any like natural lip from within kind of shine to it. It's a matte foundation. And then do not forget about your neck, please. Even if you have a perfect foundation match, I always bring the foundation down the neck, because again, it looks weird when you have a flawless face and then your neck kind of is blotchy or not even. Just bring it down. One little pump, blend it in, makes everything better, you know? So here it is zoomed in. It looks really nice. It looks natural. Again, I think if you have drier skin, it might be a little bit too matte for you. It's definitely a matte finish. Okay, so I only have one concealer color, so we're just going to use it. This is number 005. This is their Photoready Candid Antioxidant Concealer. This has caffeine, antioxidants, anti-pollution, anti-blue light again. It has no sulfates, phthalates, or no harsh fragrances. It's oil-free, and it has medium coverage. So all these products, again, are no fragrance, no silicones, no phthalates. Like, so it's supposed to be really good for your skin. It's supposed to be oil-free. So if you have somebody that's looking for a foundation or concealer that's supposed to be better for you, maybe show them this line. They might really, really like it for that aspect. This is the shade 005 in the concealer. It's more yellow undertoned. And then the wand on it is just like your typical wand. It looks a little bit fatter on the edge. It's a doe foot, but it has like a more fat kind of backing on it. So I'm just going to apply that as I normally would. I do have dark circles right here. Usually I apply a peach correcting kind of thing underneath, but let's see how good this works. It is very light. 005, I don't know how many shades this comes in, but this shade is definitely super light with a yellow undertone. It looks darker to me in the package and less yellow, so just beware of that if there is no testers in store. This shade 005 is lighter than what it looks like, so maybe if you're going to pick it up and you can't get a tester, go darker with the concealer than what it looks like, because it does come out lighter. Okay, taking another little space ball. This is for concealer. It's smaller than the regular one. I like my beauty blender better than this, but we're just gonna use it, give it a go, give it a try. So the concealer, as you can see, it is, again, flat. It's matte. There's no kind of glow to it, no kind of sheen. It's a very flat concealer. It definitely is a medium coverage, but I still can see the darkness showing through. So if you have really dark circles, this is not going to totally conceal them. Also, if you have very dry under eyes, I can see this being like, it will show your dryness, I think. So I'm doing one little coat again, just in this area where my dark circles tend to be more, you know, present. Looks better when I do two coats. It looks a little bit more flawless, but you can still see dark circles. But pretty much with every concealer that I use, I can see my dark circles. That's why I always go in with a peach corrector, but I didn't want to use it today because I just really wanted to see how it performed. It does a pretty good job. It definitely is a medium coverage, but it's very flat. So again, if you have drier under eyes, I think it might be a little bit problem. I don't really have a problem with super dry under eyes, so I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna go in and set my under eye with the Hourglass. This is the translucent veil setting powder. I absolutely love this stuff. I use it every day, so hopefully it works with this concealer. And then I'm just gonna add a little bit to the chin. I like to balance out, go down the center of my face with the same translucent powder. This powder is great. It gives you a little bit of luminosity to the skin, and it's not drying, and it doesn't, the reason why I love it for underneath my eye, because it is brightening and it doesn't alter the color of your concealer. I've tried so many under eye powders and my concealer goes orange or a different color, which I hate. Now, to bring some life back into, I'm gonna go in with the Dermablend Professional Loose Setting Powder, but I'm going in with the Cool Beige shade, not the translucent. I like using the Cool Beige shade if I look a little too kind of pale or flat. So we're just going to go in with that on a fat, this is a Nude by Nature powder brush. And I'm just going to push it into the skin. I'm just going to add some bronze to the face with the Bourjois Matte Illusion Bronzer. So we're just going to go in with that. This is on a Joe Fresh face contour brush. Then I'm just taking the Rimmel Maxi blush in the shade Third Base. And we're just going to add some blush to the skin. And then I'm going to add some Becca Opal for some highlight to bring some life back to this face of mine. So I'm just going to set my face with a little setting spray from Urban Decay. It's the All Nighter. So here it is zoomed in. I am liking it. It is very, very, very matte though. But the rest of the products sat amazingly over the foundation. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup. I will be back. I will be checking in, so stay tuned. Okay, I'm checking back in. I changed out of my house coat. I did an eye look using the new Revlon palette, so that video will be up on this eye look. And I forgot to tell you the time when I started my foundation. So I did start the foundation around 12 o'clock. It is now 1:43. It's been on my face for almost 2 hours. It's looking really good. It's very, very matte. So I'm just gonna go about my day, and I will probably come back maybe once, maybe twice, not too sure, and just let you know how everything's holding up. But so far, so good. So I will talk to you. Okay, so basically the time is, let's see here. The time is 7:19 at night. So I applied this foundation around 11 o'clock, and I have not powdered once. I was out all day with my mom, and then I cooked a meal. So it was over the stove, and this is what my foundation looks like with no touch-ups, no powder, no blotting, nothing. So I'm actually pretty impressed. So we're gonna zoom this in. Okay, so I am oily, obviously very oily here. My chin has worn off a little bit. I'm definitely oily in the T-zone. The rest of my face is pretty good. Looks pretty much the same as when I put it on hours ago. But the T-zone, I'm obviously looking oily. So yeah, so I did get oily in my T-zone, but my whole face held up pretty great. It didn't really settle into my fine lines majorly. Obviously it settled a little bit in my laugh line, but every foundation does, but not majorly. And same with my forehead. I didn't get like big indentation lines. It did wear a bit on my chin and at the tip of my nose, but for the most part, it didn't come off anywhere else. I want to say that if you have a normal skin type, I think you will really, really like this, because if I was normal and not so oily in my T-zone, it would have lasted with no breakup at all. I think if you're super dry, it will accentuate the dryness of your skin because it's a super matte foundation. I think it's better for more of a normal to a combination skin type. That's what I'm going to say about this foundation. But it did last all day long. I really, really like it. It is matte. I think it's pretty damn good. I really like the concealer. I think it looks natural. It covered my dark circles for the most part. So my rash and I we're gonna leave. I don't know what's happening. Maybe I should call the doctor. Don't know. But thank you for watching this video. If you did find it helpful, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.